Imagine working for years at a company, always delivering results and playing fair. But one day, you watch a colleague get promoted, not because of talent, but because they knew how to sell themselves. They stepped on others, took credit for work that wasn't theirs, and aligned with the right people behind the scenes. As they climb higher, you start to wonder, is playing fair really worth it? Can integrity and success truly go hand in hand? Society seems to have a clear answer. From the great empires of the past to modern business, we've heard countless stories of people who built fortunes by manipulating, exploiting, or betraying others. Even worse, many of them are seen as examples of intelligence and strategy. This mindset spreads subtly, and before realizing it, many start to believe that being ruthless is a requirement for success. But is that really the only way to thrive? Many who gained power and wealth through these means never found the peace they expected. The constant fear of losing everything haunts them, leaving them surrounded by distrust and without true allies. Some have amassed incredible riches, only to realize they will never sleep peacefully at night. The real question isn't just how to succeed, but at what cost. Is it really worth reaching the top if, when you look back, all you see is a trail of distrust, guilt, and regret? If in the end, the only thing you've truly gained is the fear of being taken down? The Stoics pondered these questions centuries ago. They taught that there is a path to wealth and success that doesn't require compromising your values. A path that leads not only to financial growth, but also to the peace of knowing your achievements are legitimate. And understanding this philosophy can change the way you approach money and the world. The desire to grow and achieve financial stability is completely valid, but for many, this journey turns into a battle where only the most aggressive come out on top. From an early age, society teaches us that wealth and status require extreme competitiveness, that to rise, you must push someone else out of the way. This mindset spreads subtly through business, the job market, and even personal relationships. Without realizing it, many start seeing others not as allies, but as obstacles. This creates an internal dilemma. On one hand, the need to stand out. On the other, the discomfort of acting against principles that once seemed non-negotiable. At first, it may seem like just part of the game, accepting credit for something that wasn't entirely yours, withholding information to gain an advantage, weakening a competitor instead of relying on your own talent. The justification is always the same. If I don't do it, someone else will. The problem is that over time, this mindset reshapes the very definition of success. Instead of being a genuine achievement, success becomes measured by the ability to stay ahead, regardless of the impact on others. And the consequences aren't just felt by those who were harmed, but also by the person making these choices. Because when victory depends on others losing, success never brings true fulfillment, only a constant fear of being the next to fall. Many who followed this path realized too late that the higher they climbed by stepping on others, the more fragile their position became. Relationships turn shallow, trust fades, and insecurity grows, because those who used these tactics to reach the top know they can be taken down the same way. There's no peace in a success built on the fear that everything could collapse at any moment. The trap of this mentality is that it imprisons those who adopt it. Even those who have accumulated significant wealth find themselves trapped in the need to keep playing the game. Stopping means losing ground to someone even more ruthless. And so, the cycle never ends. This way of viewing success isn't inevitable, but it's easy to get swept up in it without realizing it. To avoid that, you have to look within and ask yourself, what does winning really mean? What defines success that can be sustained without fear, without guilt, and without regret? The answer isn't just in strategy, it's in mindset. Understanding where true prosperity lies is the first step to building a success that doesn't need constant protection, because it was achieved the right way. The idea that growth necessarily means surpassing others not only distorts the meaning of success, but also changes how people behave. When you believe that every personal gain requires someone else's loss, relationships stop being built on cooperation and become driven by distrust. Colleagues turn into competitors, partners become threats, and even friendships are approached with caution. This creates an environment where no one shares knowledge, no one supports each other, and progress stops being a collective effort and turns into a battlefield. The effects of this mindset aren't just external, they're internal too. Those who start seeing the world this way inevitably begin acting accordingly. First, by avoiding helping others so they don't strengthen a potential rival. Then, by withholding opportunities to secure an advantage. Eventually, by subtly sabotaging others just to stay ahead. What starts as a simple instinct for self-preservation turns into a cycle where the fear of being outpaced drains all energy. But there's an even greater danger. The very perception of value becomes distorted. Instead of focusing on building something meaningful, the priority shifts to simply not being left behind. People stop measuring their success by what they've truly learned or achieved and start comparing it to others. The deeper this mindset takes root, the harder it becomes to feel satisfied with any accomplishment. Progress never feels like enough, because there's always someone who seems to be doing better. That's how many people spend their entire lives chasing recognition, never feeling like they've actually arrived anywhere. The problem isn't ambition itself, but the belief that in order to thrive, you must prevent others from doing the same. When everything turns into a constant competition, success is no longer a reflection of personal merit. It becomes defined solely by one's position relative to others. The Stoics understood this long ago. To them, true prosperity wasn't about defeating others. It was about mastering oneself. And that's the shift that changes everything. The idea that success is only truly legitimate when achieved with integrity wasn't just a moral principle for the Stoics. It was essential for a truly prosperous life. In their view, accumulating wealth and power without virtue was the greatest defeat of all, as it left a person enslaved by their own achievements. For those seeking to rise, The real question wasn't just how to reach the top, but who they became in the process. Epictetus, who was born into slavery and later became one of the greatest philosophers of his time, was one of the strongest voices. Warning against this, he argued that people often focus on controlling others but neglect their own character. Those who build their success at the expense of others may seem powerful, but in reality, they are ruled by their own unchecked ambitions. True freedom, he said, doesn't come from wealth, but from the ability to live according to unwavering principles, without resorting to deceit to get ahead. Another powerful example was Marcus Aurelius. As the emperor of Rome, he could have ruled with an iron fist, eliminating anyone who stood in his way. Instead, he saw leadership as a duty, not a right. He wrote that a wise man does not seek unfair advantages over others, because such behavior corrupts both the ruler and the ruled. He understood that an empire built solely on force and oppression was doomed to collapse, because genuine respect is never born from fear, but from justice. The difference between these men and those who pursued success at any cost lay in how they viewed prosperity. The Stoics didn't see success as a zero-sum game where one person could only rise by pushing another down. On the contrary, they believed that true success is built on merit, collaboration, and mutual respect. When someone prospers in this way, their position becomes a reflection of the trust they inspire, not the fear they impose. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, taught that the pursuit of excellence should not be based on the need to surpass others, but on the continuous desire for self-improvement. He compared life to a race, where the real challenge was not knocking down competitors, but crossing the finish line with honor. Those who win by harming others, he said, can never truly consider themselves victorious, because their achievement will always be tainted by dishonesty. This principle was also evident in the life of Solon, one of Athens' most respected lawmakers. He had many opportunities to consolidate his power by exploiting the weak or favoring his allies, yet he chose to reform laws to balance power between the rich and the poor. He understood that success built on inequality and resentment could never be sustainable. True legacy, he believed, was not about accumulating power, but ensuring that justice prevailed for all. Seneca, on the other hand, summed up this philosophy in a single powerful statement: "Success without virtue is the greatest defeat." He observed how many Romans chased status and wealth without considering the moral cost of their choices. To him, a man who gains riches without principles may accumulate possessions, but he will never find peace, because deep down he knows that what he owns is not the result of his excellence, but of the compromises he made along the way. For the Stoics, this wasn't just a matter of ethics, it was also about stability. Those who build wealth or influence justly have no need to fear betrayal or revenge. Success, rooted in integrity, is self-sustaining because it doesn't rely on covering up failures or eliminating competitors. Instead, it thrives because it is seen as legitimate and inspiring. The Stoics understood that true power doesn't come from controlling others. It comes from standing firm in one's values, no matter the circumstances. Those who build wealth without sacrificing their honor achieve not only prosperity, but also respect and inner peace. And that's something no amount of money can buy. If this mindset still seems distant from the modern world, the good news is that there are practical ways to apply it. Small shifts in how we approach growth and ambition can completely transform our relationship with success. And that's exactly what we'll explore next. Success can be achieved in many ways, but the Stoics believed that only one path led to true prosperity, the one that preserves personal integrity. They didn't despise wealth or reject ambition, but they warned against the dangers of sacrificing principles for temporary gains. To apply this Stoic mindset to your financial life, 4 key actions are essential. The first is to define your red lines before you even begin your journey towards success. Marcus Aurelius wrote that a man must have clarity about his principles. Without this foundation, it's easy to get lost in the temptations of power and money. In today's world, this means setting ethical boundaries. What types of business deals would you never accept? What financial commitments would you refuse to make? If your integrity is for sale, sooner or later, someone will make an offer. A practical way to prevent this is to write down your own non-negotiable rules. List the values you're unwilling to compromise, no matter the opportunity. Those who define their principles before they're tested have a much better chance of keeping them intact. The second essential action is to practice cooperation instead of toxic competition. Real success doesn't come from tearing others down, but from growing alongside them. In Stoicism, the idea that life is a zero-sum game, where one person can only win if another loses, was seen as an illusion. Seneca said that there is no greater joy than helping another grow, because what we strengthen in others also strengthens us. This mindset is especially relevant in finance. Those who see colleagues and competitors as potential allies rather than obstacles build networks of trust and support that sustain them in difficult times. Whether in work, business, or investing, fostering relationships based on mutual growth and shared success creates opportunities that would never emerge in a hyper-competitive environment. The market doesn't have to be a battlefield. It can be a space where everyone evolves together. The third Stoic lesson is simple yet powerful. Prioritize your peace over your ego. Many believe that success is about accumulating more money, status, and recognition. But the Stoics warned that the greatest mistake a person can make is letting ambition turn into slavery. There's nothing wrong with wanting wealth and progress. The problem arises when these goals start costing you your inner peace. Seneca observed that many people amassed fortunes only to realize that instead of owning their money, they were owned by it. What's the point of achieving success if it comes with guilt, fear, or regret? A financial decision may seem profitable in the moment, but if you know deep down that it compromises your values, the psychological cost will be high. The Stoic understands that true wealth isn't just what you have. It's being able to sleep peacefully, knowing your success was built the right way. Finally, one fundamental mindset prevents the pursuit of success from turning into frustration: detachment from results. Many people believe that by doing the right thing, they deserve an immediate reward, and when that doesn't happen, they become discouraged. Others feel anxious when they see someone else succeeding faster, as if it diminishes their own progress. But the Stoics taught that the only real victory is acting correctly, regardless of applause or external rewards. Those who work with purpose and integrity don't need validation from others to know they're on the right path. Genuine growth happens naturally, and when it comes in a solid and lasting way. If you want to dive deeper into this Stoic mindset applied to finance, the ebook Stoic Wealth: How Philosophical Lessons Can Transform Your Financial Life is a great place to start. This introductory guide combines Stoic teachings with practical strategies for building a more balanced and healthy financial life. The link to access it is available in the first pinned comment of this video. At the end of the day, true success isn't just measured by what you achieve, it's measured by what you sustain. Those who grow with ethics build an empire that no one can tear down. Because in the end, the greatest victory isn't just reaching the top, it's getting there, knowing you never lost yourself along the way. Looking back at everything we've discussed, it's clear that success doesn't have to come at the expense of others. The Stoics showed that it's possible to prosper with integrity, without deception or manipulation. Defining your values before the journey, embracing cooperation over rivalry, prioritizing peace over unchecked ambition, and letting go of the need for recognition are choices that not only strengthen your financial path, but also reinforce your inner freedom. Those who build success on these principles don't have to constantly defend it, because it stands on something no one can take away: their character. Contrary to what many believe, wealth and morality are not opposing forces. The real issue isn't money itself, but what we're willing to do to obtain it. Those who understand that integrity and prosperity can go hand in hand build something far more valuable than a full bank account. They build a life worth living. The Stoics teach us that true greatness isn't just about what you own, but about how you earned everything you have. And what about you? Have you ever known someone who achieved success at the expense of others? How did that experience play out? Share your thoughts in the comments. If this video helped you see success in a new light, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. And remember, the real victory isn't climbing higher than everyone else. It's growing without having to bring anyone down. Stay on the path to prosperity. Until we meet again.